The massive space station Kepler Prime floated like a silver city among the stars. Ships from dozens of worlds docked at its many ports. Inside its great halls, the most powerful beings in the galaxy had gathered for the annual technology summit. Ambassador Hana Kim walked through the corridors with careful steps. Her simple black suit looked plain next to the colorful robes and strange armor worn by alien delegates. She had represented humanity at these meetings for 3 years now, but she still felt small in this place. The main conference hall was enormous. Thousands of seats surrounded a central stage where speakers shared their latest discoveries. Hana found her assigned spot in the back corner, far from the important delegates who sat near the front. To her left sat a creature made entirely of blue crystal. Its body caught the light and threw rainbows across the walls. This was Ambassador Zek of the Vectari, a race that had mastered space travel before humans learned to make fire. On her right was a floating cloud of purple gas contained in a clear suit. The gas shifted and swirled as it spoke through a voice box. This was the Nethros delegate, representing beings who lived in the deep atmospheres of gas giant planets. Near the front of the hall, an ancient figure sat perfectly still. The Corvani elder looked like a tall, thin human covered in silver skin. Its race was older than most stars and claimed to understand the deepest secrets of the universe. Council Chairman Vex stepped onto the stage. He was a Corvani like the elder, but younger by only a few thousand years. His silver eyes scanned the crowd before he began to speak. "Welcome, friends from across the galaxy," Chairman Vex said. His voice carried easily through the vast hall. "Today we announce something special, something that will test the greatest minds and finest engineers among all our peoples." The hall fell silent. Even the gas being beside Hana stopped its constant swirling. "We call it the Great Speed Trial," the chairman continued. "Each willing species may build one starship. The goal is simple but challenging. Your ship must cross the Andromeda Gap faster than any other." Excited whispers filled the air. The Andromeda Gap was legendary among space travelers. It was a region of empty space between the galaxy's spiral arms, 50,000 light-years of absolute nothing. No stars, no planets, no places to stop or hide. Just cold, dark emptiness. "The winner gains access to our restricted hyperspace lanes," Chairman Vex announced, "plus full technology exchange agreements with all council races." Now the whispers became loud conversations. Access to restricted hyperspace lanes meant cutting travel time between major worlds by half. Technology exchanges could advance a civilization by centuries. The crystal being next to Hana made a sound like wind chimes. "The Vectari accept this challenge," it announced. "Our quantum fold drives will make this contest no contest at all." The rear, purple gas cloud pulsed brighter. "The Nethros also accept. Our plasma propulsion systems have no equal in known space." One by one, the great races accepted the challenge. The ancient Corvani spoke of gravity manipulation. The machine race Technari boasted about their perfect calculations. The Hivemind Collective claimed their ships could think faster than individual pilots could react. Finally, Chairman Vex looked toward the back of the hall. "And what of the newer members of our council? Do the humans wish to participate?" The entire hall turned to stare at Hana. She felt thousands of alien eyes focused on her small corner. Some delegates laughed. Others made sounds that might have been laughter in their own languages. "Humans?" The crystal being chimed with amusement. "They only achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years ago. They still use crude fusion rockets." "Their ships are so slow," the gas being whispered. "I have seen their cargo vessels. They take months to cross distances we cover in days." But Hana stood up anyway. Her heart pounded, but her voice was steady. "Humanity accepts the challenge." The laughter grew louder. Even some of the serious races like the Corvani seemed amused. Only a few delegates remained quiet, including the ancient elder who watched Hana with thoughtful silver eyes. "Excellent," Chairman Vex said, though he seemed surprised. "All participants have 6 months to build their vessels. The race begins at Rim Station Gamma on the 7th day of the Centauri month." As the meeting ended, delegates began forming groups to discuss the challenge. Hana found herself alone as aliens moved past her without a glance. She was about to leave when two figures approached her section. Engineer June Park had arrived on the same transport as Hana. He was young for such an important position, only 35, but already famous for his work on Earth's newest fusion drives. Beside him stood Dr. Mira Song, a physicist whose theories had helped humans understand hyperspace travel. "That was brave," June said quietly as they moved toward the exit. "That was crazy," Mira added, but she was smiling. "Do you know what we just committed to? Racing against civilizations that have been building starships for thousands of years?" Hana nodded. "I know exactly what we committed to. The question is, can we actually do it?" They walked together through the station's corridors, passing alien technologies that seemed like magic. Gravity fields that let beings walk on walls, machines that translated thoughts instead of words, ships that bent space itself to travel faster than light. "Look at all this," June said, gesturing at the wonders around them. "Every race here has things we can barely understand. How are we supposed to compete?" "Maybe we cannot build the most advanced ship," Mira said thoughtfully. "But humans have always found ways to win when we should lose." They reached their small human quarters near the station's outer ring. Through the window, they could see Earth's sun as a tiny distant star. Home seemed very far away. 6 months, Hana said. 6 months to build something that can outrun ships powered by technologies we do not even have names for. 6 months to prove that humans belong here, June added. Mira stared out at the stars. 6 months to show them that sometimes the newest ideas can beat the oldest wisdom. The three humans stood quietly for a moment, thinking about the enormous task ahead. Somewhere in this station, alien engineers were already planning ships that would use quantum mechanics, gravity control, and other advanced sciences. But humanity had something else, something the other races had forgotten in their long histories of technological perfection. Humans had the ability to find new solutions to old problems. They had the willingness to try things that logic said were impossible. The Great Speed trial would test more than just engines and hulls. It would test whether human creativity could compete with alien perfection, whether 60 years of space travel could match 60,000 years of experience. In 6 months, the galaxy would have its answer. The Seoul Aerospace Research Facility sat high in the Korean mountains, hidden from curious eyes by forests and security systems. 3 weeks had passed since the challenge was announced, and engineer June Park stood before a room full of Earth's best minds. "Everyone knows why we are here," June said, looking at the faces around the conference table. "We have 5 months left to build a ship that can beat civilizations with thousands of years of experience." Dr. Mira Song sat to his right, her tablet filled with notes from their meeting on Kepler Prime. Across from her was Kai Lee, the propulsion specialist who had designed the engines for Earth's fastest military ships. Next to him sat Luna Cho, whose new metal alloys had made those same ships nearly indestructible. At the far end of the table, systems expert Rio Nam was already sketching ideas on his tablet. He was known for making different technologies work together in ways no one expected. "Let me be honest," June continued. "If we try to beat the aliens at their own game, we will lose. The Vectari have quantum drives we barely understand. The Nethros use plasma systems we cannot even copy. The Corvani manipulate gravity itself." "So what do?" Kai asked. "Give up?" "No," Mira said, standing up to join June at the front of the room. "We do what humans have always done. We find a different way." She activated the room's holographic display. Images of alien ships appeared in the air above the table. Each one looked impossibly advanced with smooth curves and glowing energy fields. "Look at these ships," Mira said. "Everyone is built around a single amazing technology. Quantum drives, plasma cores, gravity manipulation. They perfect one system and build everything else around it." "And that is wrong?" Luna asked. "Not wrong," June replied. "Just not human. We have never had one perfect system. Instead, we take many good systems and make them work together." Rio looked up from his sketching. "Like the old fighter jets. They were not the fastest or the strongest, but they combined speed, weapons, armor, and electronics in ways that beat specialized aircraft. Exactly, Mira said, smiling. The aliens think our technology is primitive because each piece is simple, but what if we combine those simple pieces in ways they never considered? June activated another display. This one showed human technologies: fusion reactors, magnetic field generators, artificial intelligence systems, and advanced hull designs. Fusion ramjets, he said, pointing to the first image. Not as fancy as quantum drives, but they can run forever on hydrogen collected from space. Magnetic field manipulation, Mira added. We learned this from studying solar flares. Not as powerful as gravity control, but much more flexible. AI navigation systems, Rio said. Based on human neural networks, they do not calculate as fast as alien computers, but they can adapt to new situations. And hull design inspired by supersonic aircraft, Luna finished. Built for speed through both normal space and hyperspace. Kai leaned back in his chair. So we build a ship that uses all of these at once? More than that, June said. We build a ship that uses them together in ways that create something completely new. Over the following weeks, the team worked day and night. The project was given the name HSV Taeguk, after the symbol on the Korean flag that represented balance and harmony. The ship that began taking shape in the facility's construction bay looked different from any human vessel ever built. It was longer and thinner than normal, with a hull that curved like a sword blade. Strange magnetic coils ran along its entire length, and the fusion engines were built directly into the ship's structure instead of hanging off the back. It looks fast even sitting still, Luna said as they watched construction robots assemble the frame. The hull design channels plasma flow from the ramjets, Kai explained. Instead of just pushing us forward, the exhaust helps create a magnetic field bubble around the ship, which reduces drag in hyperspace, Rio added. The AI can adjust the field shape in real time to find the smoothest path through subspace currents. Mira was studying readings from the ship's test systems. The individual components are not impressive. Our fusion reactor produces less power than a Vectari quantum core. Our magnetic systems are weaker than Corvani gravity manipulation. But, together? June asked. Together they create something the aliens have never seen. A ship that gets more efficient the faster it goes, instead of requiring more power. News of their progress reached other human facilities around Earth. Teams of engineers and scientists offered help, sending new ideas and improved components. The project became humanity's top priority. In orbit above Earth, spy satellites from various alien races watched the construction with interest. Most sent reports back to their governments describing a conventional fusion vessel with some unusual design choices. The Vectari intelligence summary read, "Humans building standard fusion ship with oversized engine array. No quantum technology. Detected. Threat level minimal." The Nethros report was similar. Human vessel uses primitive magnetic systems. No plasma confinement technology. Victory in trial remains certain. Only the Corvani showed any real interest. Their ancient elder studied the intelligence reports with silver eyes that had seen the rise and fall of civilizations. There is something different about this design, the elder told his advisors. The humans are not trying to copy our technologies. They are creating something entirely new. New does not mean better, replied a younger Corvani. Their ship cannot possibly match our gravitational drives. Perhaps, the elder said quietly, but humans have surprised us before. Back on Earth, the Taeguk was nearing completion. The ship measured 300 meters from nose to tail, with a hull that gleamed like polished silver. The magnetic coils created patterns of blue light that flowed from front to back when the systems were active. She is beautiful, Luna said as they conducted the final systems check. She better be fast too, Kai added, monitoring the fusion reactor's output. Rio was at the navigation station, running tests on the AI systems. The computer is learning quickly. It can already predict hyperspace current patterns better than our best human navigators. June stood on the bridge looking out at his creation. In 2 months, this ship would line up against vessels built by the greatest civilizations in the galaxy, ships powered by technologies that humans could barely understand. Are we really going to do this? Mira asked, joining him at the window. We are really going to try, June replied. The question is whether trying will be enough. Outside, Earth turned slowly in the darkness of space. Somewhere among the stars, alien engineers were putting finishing touches on their own vessels. Ships that could fold space, manipulate time, or travel through dimensions that humans had no names for. But the Taeguk was different. It was not the most advanced ship ever built, or the most powerful. It was something else entirely, a ship that represented the human way of solving impossible problems. By taking many simple solutions and combining them into something greater than the sum of its parts. The real test would come in 2 months in the cold emptiness of the Andromeda Gap. There, humanity would learn whether their different approach could compete with alien perfection. The galaxy was about to discover what humans could accomplish when they refused to accept that something was impossible. 2 months before the Great Speed Trial, engineer June Park stood in the test chamber watching his life's work fall apart. The HSV Taeguk hung in the zero-gravity bay, its beautiful hull gleaming under the work lights. But the test results on his tablet told a different story. The numbers do not lie, Dr. Mirasong said, floating beside him with her own tablet. We are fast, but not fast enough. The ship's test runs had been impressive by human standards. The Taeguk could cross normal space at speeds that amazed Earth's engineers. Its combination of fusion ramjets and magnetic field manipulation worked exactly as planned. But it was not enough to beat alien technology. The Vectari quantum drives can fold space itself, Kai Lee said from the communications panel. They skip most of the journey by jumping through higher dimensions. The Nethros plasma systems create artificial wormholes, Luna Cho added. They travel through space that technically does not exist. Rio Nam was running calculations on the navigation computer. Even our best estimates show we will finish in the middle of the pack, maybe 6th or 7th place out of 32 ships. June closed his eyes and leaned against the observation window. 6 months of work, the best minds on Earth, resources from every major nation, all of it leading to a respectable failure. There has to be something we are missing, he said. Some way to make the ship faster without rebuilding everything. Short of inventing our own quantum drive in 2 months, I do not see how, Mira replied. That was when the security alert sounded. Unauthorized entry in Bay 7, the facility's AI announced. Unknown individual detected. Security guards rushed toward the bay, but June held up his hand. Wait, let me check the cameras first. The security monitor showed a woman in a simple black coat walking calmly toward the Taeguk. She was Asian, probably in her 40s with graying hair and thick glasses. She carried a small briefcase and seemed completely unafraid of the armed guards following her. Dr. Yuna Han, Mira whispered, reading the woman's identification badge. I know that name. Who is she? June asked. Theoretical physicist. She worked on some classified projects before disappearing from public research 5 years ago. Mira's eyes widened. The rumors said she was working on something impossible. Something the government buried because it was too dangerous. The woman reached the observation window and tapped on it with one finger. When June opened the communication channel, her voice came through clearly. Engineer Park, she said, I believe you have a problem that requires an unconventional solution. 20 minutes later, Dr. Yuna Han sat at the conference table with June's entire team. Her briefcase lay open, revealing documents marked with security classifications so high that most of the team had never seen them before. For the past 5 years, I have been working on something the military calls Project Chaos, she began. The official report says the project failed. The official report is wrong. She activated her own holographic display. Unlike the clean, organized charts that filled most presentations, this one looked like mathematical madness. Equations twisted through 3-dimensional space, connecting in patterns that hurt to look at. Every civilization in the galaxy navigates space the same way, Dr. Han continued. They calculate the most efficient path from point A to point B. They use perfect mathematics to find perfect routes through hyperspace. That makes sense, Rio said. Why would you want an inefficient path? Because efficient is predictable. Dr. Han replied. And predictable paths follow predictable rules. But space is not actually predictable. It is full of chaos that mathematics cannot capture. She changed the display to show a map of local space. Normal hyperspace lanes appeared as straight blue lines connecting star systems, but overlaying those lines were twisting red paths that seemed to go everywhere and nowhere. Quantum fluctuations, gravitational anomalies, dark matter currents, space-time instabilities. The universe is full of shortcuts that appear and disappear randomly. Shortcuts that conventional navigation systems cannot see because they do not follow logical patterns. Mira leaned forward. You are talking about navigating through chaos itself. Not through it, Dr. Han corrected. With it, by accepting that space is unpredictable and learning to use that unpredictability. Kai shook his head. That sounds incredibly dangerous. How do you navigate through something that changes randomly? Dr. Han smiled. You do not navigate it. You feel it. She opened another file on her display. This one showed brain scans and psychological profiles. Humans have something that aliens do not, she explained. Pattern recognition that works even when there is no logical pattern. Intuition that can sense connections that mathematics cannot prove. The ability to make correct decisions based on incomplete information. You want to use human intuition? To navigate hyperspace, June said slowly. More than that. I want to build a navigation system that combines human intuition with quantum sensors. A system that can feel the chaos of space and find the hidden shortcuts that pure logic cannot detect. Luna looked skeptical. How is that even possible? Neural interfaces, Dr. Han replied. We connect human navigators directly to the ship's sensors. They experience space-time the way a pilot experiences flight, not through instruments and calculations, but through direct sensation. She showed them video files of test pilots connected to prototype systems. The humans were floating in sensory chambers, their minds linked to quantum sensors that detected subspace fluctuations. The test subjects described it as surfing, Dr. Han said, riding waves in space-time that they could feel but not explain, following currents that led to impossible destinations. Did it work? Rio asked. In small tests, yes. Unmanned probes using the system found shortcuts that reduced travel time by 30 to 40%. But we never tested it on anything as large as a Starship. June stared at the data. You are suggesting we rebuild our entire navigation system 2 months before the race. I am suggesting we add to your navigation system, Dr. Han corrected. Your ship already has excellent conventional navigation. We would simply give it the ability to sense and use opportunities that conventional systems miss. What about the risks? Mira asked. The risks are significant, Dr. Han admitted. Navigation through chaos is unpredictable by definition. Pilots could make mistakes. Systems could fail. The ship could be lost in space-time. Or, June prompted, or you could arrive at the finish line hours ahead of ships using technologies that are thousands of years more advanced than yours. The room fell silent. Outside the windows, Earth turned peacefully in the darkness. Somewhere among the stars, alien engineers were putting finishing touches on ships that could manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. How long would the modifications take? June asked finally. 6 weeks for the hardware, 2 weeks for testing. That leaves 2 weeks to train your navigators and make final adjustments. That is cutting it very close, Kai said. Everything about this project has been cutting it close, Luna pointed out. Rio was already sketching integration plans on his tablet. The neural interface systems could tie into our existing AI navigation. Instead of replacing our computers, we would give them new types of input. Mira was studying Dr. Han's brain scan data. The test subjects showed no permanent effects from the neural interfaces. None, Dr. Han replied. The experience is intense but harmless. Most describe it as the most amazing sensation they have ever felt. June looked around the table at his team. These people had already committed to an impossible project. They had built a ship that combined technologies in ways no one had tried before. Now they were being asked to take an even bigger risk. If we do this, he said slowly, we will be gambling everything on technology that has never been tested at full scale. We are already gambling everything Mira pointed out. At least this gives us a real chance to win. The aliens expect us to fail, Kai added. They think humans are too primitive to be a real threat. That gives us an advantage. They will never see this coming, Luna agreed. Rio looked up from his sketches. I can integrate the new systems with our existing navigation AI. The computer can handle the calculations while human navigators provide the intuitive input. June made his decision. Dr. Han, welcome to Project Taeguk. We have 6 weeks to turn your chaos navigation theory into working technology. And then, Dr. Han said with a smile, we teach the galaxy that sometimes the best way to find your destination is to embrace getting lost. Outside the facility, alien spy satellites continued their routine observations. Their reports would note increased activity around the human ship, but nothing that suggested any major changes. After all, how could anyone detect modifications designed to work with chaos itself? The greatest secret weapon in human history was about to be born from humanity's greatest strength, the ability to find order in disorder and make sense of the senseless. Rim Station Gamma floated at the edge of known space like a giant metal flower. Its docking arms stretched out in all directions, each one holding a ship built by one of the galaxy's greatest civilizations. The Great Speed Trial was about to begin. Captain Sujin stood on the bridge of the HSV Taeguk, watching alien vessels through the main view screen. Each ship looked like a work of art designed by beings who had mastered the secrets of the universe. The Vectari ship, Crystal Velocity, was made entirely of living crystal that pulsed with blue light. Energy flowed through its transparent hull like blood through veins. Its quantum fold drive could bend space itself, making distance almost meaningless. The Nethros vessel Plasma Storm looked like a captured piece of a star. Contained plasma swirled inside a magnetic bottle the size of a city block. When it moved, space around it glowed with heat that could melt planets. The Corvani ship Gravity's Edge was the most beautiful of all. It seemed to be made of liquid silver that flowed and shifted as gravitational fields played across its surface. It was older than human civilization and powered by forces that humans had no names for. Impressive fleet, said Navigation Officer Rin Kang from her station. She was connected to the Chaos navigation system through neural cables that ran from her skull to the ship's quantum sensors. But I can feel something they cannot. What do you feel? Captain Sujin asked. The space between the stars is not empty, Rin replied. It is full of currents and waves that their perfect calculations cannot see. The chaos is calling to us. Dr. Yuna Han monitored Rin's vital signs from the science station. Neural interface is stable. Quantum sensors are online. She is reading space-time fluctuations that our instruments cannot even detect. Engineer June Park was in the engine room, making final adjustments to the fusion ramjets. All systems ready. Captain, the Taeguk has never been faster. The communication system crackled to life. Attention all vessels, came the voice of Race Controller Vex from Rim Station Gamma. Final preparations are complete. All ships report to the starting line. 57 ships began moving away from the station. They formed a long line stretching across several light minutes of space. Each vessel represented the best technology their species could create. The human ship took its assigned position near the back of the formation. Most alien crews assumed this was because humans were expected to finish last. They were partly right. HSV Taeguk, this is Crystal Velocity, came a musical voice over the communication channel. It was the Vectari captain, speaking in perfectly translated human language. We respect your courage in entering this competition. Thank you, Captain Sujin replied. May the best ship win. Oh, it will, the Vectari captain said with what sounded like amusement. Our quantum systems will have us at the finish line before most ships complete their first hyperspace jump. Similar messages came from other alien vessels. Some were polite. Others were openly mocking. The machine race Technari sent a simple data burst that translated as probability of human victory, 0.001%. Let them talk, Rin said from her navigation station. Her eyes were closed, but she was seeing space in ways no alien could imagine. I can feel shortcuts through the void that their mathematics will never find. Race controller Vex's voice filled the communication channels again. The Great Speed Trial will begin in 60 seconds. All ships prepare for hyperspace entry. Your destination is Beacon Station Alpha on the far side of the Andromeda Gap. Distance, 50,000 light-years. Course, unrestricted. Method, your choice. Captain Sujin activated the ship's internal communication system. All hands, this is the captain. Today we race against impossible odds. Today we prove that human ingenuity can compete with technologies we do not fully understand. Today we show the galaxy what we can accomplish when we refuse to accept defeat. 30 seconds to race start, Controller Vex announced. The Tegok's fusion engines came online with a deep thrumming that ran through the ship's hull. Magnetic. Coils began generating the field patterns that would help them slide through hyperspace more efficiently than conventional ships. Rin, how are you feeling? Dr. Han asked. Like I'm about to surf the biggest wave in the universe, Rin replied. The chaos is beautiful. I can see paths through space-time that twist and turn like mountain rivers. 10 seconds, Controller Vex announced. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin. 57 ships vanished into hyperspace simultaneously. The crystal velocity disappeared first, folding space around itself and jumping ahead by thousands of light-years in an instant. The plasma storm created an artificial wormhole and shot through it like a bullet. The HSV Tegok entered hyperspace more conventionally, using standard human jump technology. To outside observers, it looked like the human ship was already falling, behind. But inside the ship, something amazing was happening. I can see them, Rin whispered, her neural interface glowing with activity, space-time fractures running parallel to the normal hyperspace lanes. Gravity waves from colliding neutron stars creating temporary shortcuts, dark matter currents that flow faster than light itself. Are they safe to use? Captain Sujin asked. Safe is a relative term, Dr. Han said, monitoring the Chaos navigation system. But the mathematical models show they should hold long enough for us to use them. Take us through, the captain ordered. Rin's hands moved across her control interface, without conscious thought. She was not calculating navigation routes. She was feeling them. The ship turned away from the established hyperspace lane and dove into a region of space that most civilizations marked as dangerous and unpredictable. We are surfing a gravity wave from a black hole merger that happened 3 million years ago, Rin announced. The wave is still traveling through space-time and we are riding it like dolphins ride ocean waves. The ship shuddered as it passed through regions where space itself was unstable. But instead of being torn apart, the Tegok used its magnetic field systems to stay stable while gaining speed from the chaos around it. Speed increasing, reported the ship's AI. We are now traveling at 1.7 times our maximum rated velocity. Hours passed. The alien ships followed their carefully calculated routes through stable hyperspace lanes. Their navigation computers found the most efficient paths between start and finish, just as they had been programmed to do. Meanwhile, the Tegok danced through cosmic chaos. Rin guided them through the heart of a dying star's gravitational field, using the star's collapse to slingshot forward at impossible speeds. She found a space-time fracture caused by 2 galaxies pulling on each other, and used it as a shortcut that cut thousands of light-years off their journey. Contact with other ships, reported Communications Officer Kim Tae. The crystal velocity is still in the lead, but several vessels are reporting navigation problems. What kind of problems? Captain Sujin asked. Their computer systems cannot handle the unpredictable conditions near the galactic edge. The Nethro ship Plasma Storm had to drop out of hyperspace to recalibrate. The Technari vessel is asking for assistance with calculation errors. Rin smiled without opening her eyes. Their perfect mathematics work fine in normal space, but we are not in normal space anymore. We are in the deep void where chaos rules and logic fails. Current position? The captain asked. 47,000 light-years from start, the navigation AI reported. We have covered 94% of the course distance. Dr. Han checked her instruments. Rin's neural activity is still stable. The Chaos navigation system is working better than our best predictions. One more big jump, Rin said. I can feel a massive space-time distortion ahead. If we time it right, we can ride it all the way to the finish line. The distortion she sensed was caused by two massive black holes orbiting each other at the galaxy's edge. Their gravitational dance created waves in space-time that most ships avoided as too dangerous to approach. But the Teguk was not most ships. Take us in, Captain Sujin ordered. The ship dove toward the binary black holes, using their gravitational field as a cosmic slingshot. For a few terrifying seconds, the Teguk balanced on the edge of destruction, held together only by its magnetic field systems and the skill of its human crew. Then they shot forward like a stone from a slingshot, riding a gravity wave that carried them across the final 3,000 light-years in minutes instead of hours. Beacon Station Alpha appeared on their screens, growing larger as they approached at impossible speed. We made it, Rin whispered, finally opening her eyes. We actually made it. But the real question remained. Had they made it first? Beacon Station Alpha hung in the darkness at the edge of the Andromeda Gap, like a lighthouse marking safe harbor. Its massive sensor arrays tracked incoming ships, while billions of beings across the galaxy watched the live broadcasts of the Great Speed Trial. Captain Sujin stood on the bridge of the HSV Teguk, watching the finish line grow larger on the main screen. But she could not see any other ships. The space around the beacon station looked completely empty. Are we first? She asked, hardly daring to believe it. Navigation Officer Rin Kang was disconnecting from the Chaos navigation system. Her face was pale from the intense mental effort, but her eyes were bright with excitement. I cannot see any other ships on sensors. Confirming our position, reported the ship's AI. We are approaching Beacon Station Alpha. Elapsed time from race start, 14 hours, 23 minutes, 17 seconds. Dr. Yunahan was running diagnostics on all systems. The Chaos navigation hardware performed perfectly. Rin's neural interface showed no signs of stress or damage. We could do this again right now if we had to. But Engineer June Park was frowning at his display. Something is wrong. We cannot be the only ship here. The Vectari quantum drives should have brought them across the gap in half the time it took us. Maybe their technology failed, suggested Communications Officer Kim Tae. Space near the galactic edge is unpredictable. Even advanced systems can have problems. Before anyone could answer, new contacts appeared on the sensor screen. 3 ships dropped out of hyperspace near the beacon station. The first was the gleaming crystal form of the Vectari vessel Crystal Velocity. Behind it came 2 more alien ships that had been leading the race for most of the journey. Crystal Velocity to Beacon Station, came the musical voice of the Vectari captain, requesting confirmation of arrival time. Beacon Station to Crystal Velocity, replied the station. Controller, your arrival time is 14 hours, 57 minutes, 41 seconds. You are currently in 4th place. 4th place. The words hung in the air like a physical thing. The most advanced ship in the race, powered by quantum technology that could fold space itself, had finished in 4th place. That is impossible, the Vectari captain said. Our instruments show no ships ahead of us. Beacon Station to all vessels, the controller announced. Current standings are as follows. 1st place, HSV Teguk, human vessel, time 14 hours, 23 minutes, 17 seconds. 2nd place, Void Runner Kethari vessel. 3rd place, Starpierce Milani vessel. 4th place, Crystal Velocity Vectari vessel. The communication channels exploded with activity. Alien captains demanded verification of the results. Some accused the beacon station of equipment malfunction. Others suggested that the humans had cheated somehow. This is impossible, came the voice of the Nethros captain. Human technology is centuries behind ours. They use primitive fusion drives and magnetic systems. Beacon Station confirms all results. The controller replied calmly. HSV Teguk crossed the finish line 34 minutes ahead of the 2nd place vessel. On Earth, celebration erupted in every major city. People poured into the streets cheering and waving flags. In Seoul, Millions gathered to watch the live broadcast on giant screens. The impossible had happened. Humanity had won. But in the command center of Beacon Station Alpha, confusion reigned. Race officials studied sensor data and reviewed recordings, trying to understand how a human ship had beaten vessels powered by technologies they barely understood. "Request permission to dock," Captain Sujin said. "We would like to report to race officials." Permission granted, HSV Taiguk. Proceed to Docking Bay 7. As the Taiguk approached the station, more alien ships began arriving. The ancient Corvani vessel Gravity's Edge appeared, followed by ships from a dozen other species. Each captain demanded explanations for the impossible results. The docking bay was filled with alien reporters and officials when the human crew disembarked. Captain Sujin led her team through crowds of beings who stared at them with expressions ranging from amazement to disbelief. The main briefing room was packed with representatives from every major civilization. At the center of the room sat the Corvani Elder, the ancient being whose silver eyes had watched the rise and fall of countless species. "Captain Sujin," the Elder said in a voice like distant thunder, "please explain to this assembly how your vessel achieved victory in the Great Speed Trial." Captain Sujin looked around the room at faces and forms that represented thousands of years of scientific advancement. Then she smiled. "We cheated," she said simply. The room erupted in angry voices. Several alien delegates rose to their feet, demanding investigations and calling for the humans to be disqualified. But the Elder raised one silver hand, and silence fell instantly. "Please explain what you mean by cheated," the Elder said. "We broke the most important rule of space navigation," Captain Sujin continued. "We stopped trying to predict the unpredictable. Instead, we learned to use unpredictability itself. Doctor." Yunahan stepped forward and activated a holographic display. It showed the Taiguk's route across the Andromeda Gap. Instead of following the straight hyperspace lanes used by other ships, the human vessel's path twisted and curved through regions marked as dangerous or impossible to navigate. "While your ships followed mathematical perfection," Dr. Han explained, "we followed chaos. We found shortcuts through space-time distortions that your computers cannot calculate because they do not follow logical patterns." "That is impossible," said the Vectari delegate. "Chaos cannot be navigated. It is random by definition." "Chaos cannot be calculated," Rin Kang said, speaking for the first time. "But it can be felt. Humans have always been good at finding patterns where no patterns should exist, at making sense of things that do not make sense." She activated another display showing brain scans from the Chaos navigation system. "We combined human intuition with quantum sensors. Instead of fighting the unpredictable nature of space, we learned to dance with it." The Technari representative, a machine being covered in sensors and computation devices, processed this information for several seconds. "You are suggesting that biological intuition is superior to mathematical calculation?" "Not superior," Engineer June Park said. "Different. Your mathematics work perfectly in predictable situations. But space is not always predictable. Sometimes you need something else. The willingness to take risks that logic says you should not take," added Captain Sujin. "The ability to trust feelings instead of numbers," said Rin Kang. "The courage to try solutions that have never been tested," finished Dr. Han. The room fell silent as alien minds processed this information. Many of the assembled beings had never encountered a species that deliberately embraced unpredictability as a tool. Finally, the Corvani Elder spoke. "For 10,000 years, our species have sought to master the universe through understanding," the Elder said. "We have built technologies that control matter, energy, space, and time. We have achieved mathematical perfection in our navigation systems." The Elder stood, its ancient form towering over the assembly. "But today a young species has shown us something we had forgotten. The universe is not a problem to be solved. It is a dance partner to be embraced, and sometimes the best way to reach your destination is to accept that you might get lost along the way." The Elder turned to face the human delegation directly. "The Corvani Collective formally recognizes humanity's victory in the Great Speed Trial. Your species has earned access to restricted hyperspace lanes and full technology exchange agreements with all council races. But more importantly, the elder continued, "You have reminded us that wisdom is not always about having the right answers. Sometimes it is about asking the right questions. And sometimes the most important question is not how to avoid chaos, but how to find opportunity within it." In the days that followed, delegations from dozens of alien species visited Earth. They came to study human technology, but more importantly, they came to understand the human way of thinking. The HSV Taiguk was displayed in the Smithsonian Museum, but copies of its chaos navigation system were built into a new generation of human starships. Earth became a hub of galactic trade and exploration as other species sought to learn from humanity's unique approach to problem-solving. And in the depths of space, human crews continued to find new shortcuts through the cosmic chaos, proving, again and again, that sometimes the best way to master the universe is to accept that it cannot be mastered at all. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Advanced technology was impressive, but human ingenuity was something else entirely. Its here was the willingness to try the impossible and make it look easy.